Hello everyone, my name is Will. For my Async project, I made a League of Legends stat tracker. I did this with the Riot developer tools, basically just an API that lets you pull data from Riot using player IDs or usernames or whatever to get match history and just stats associated with each player. So this is kind of the website I based this off of. You just search your summoner ID and you're presented with all this crazy data, all just organized very nicely. See, it takes a while to load because there's a lot of matches. And then, yeah, you can see all the data, what champion you played, your score line, and then you can expand it and see everyone else in your game's data, like their damage, gold, creep score, their items, and blah, blah, blah. So as you can see, not as cool UI, but for purposes it works. If you search a summoner name, you'll see some data associated with your solo rank, like what rank you are in these two categories, your wins and losses with a calculated win rate, and then match history for the last 20 games. You can set it to kind of however many you want. I just chose 20. When I was developing, I had 5 because it's a shorter load time. I've noticed that as you add more, the load time gets longer and longer, but as you can see, all this data is populated from the API. I promise it's not hard-coded, and we can check that by searching a different summoner. Right here. And we'll just wait for this to load. I will cut back. Okay. So we see different summoners or different games. You can expand the details and see information about all of the players, including their items that they bought, and just unique information about everyone. Yeah, so going into kind of how I did this, it could be interesting to look at the data and how I'm passing that all around. So this is all some Redux state, and so when you click this button, it calls a thunk right here that will take a player name, pass it into a proxy server I set up that goes here, get the player name, that gets a player or a PUU ID, which is like a long string of numbers from a different route in that API that's then passed here, so you can have access to basically all the games, and that's passed to an array that gets sent, and that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing right here. And I'll just expand this a little bit. And so this is where all the cool data information stuff happens. If you go to info, you can see the game mode classic, which is right here. Let's see if he's played any other ones. Oh yeah, and so maybe down the line, he's played an ARAM game, so this would be ARAM, and that's why that's different. But yeah, this project is just basically a lot of manipulating arrays and stuff like that. For example, for this card, just this first initial one, I set up a reducer to check for if the summoner name in these right here matches this name. It just pulls the information associated with that, but if you expand, it will pull the information associated with everyone in the game. Just looking through, you could get into some really crazy stuff with this, just because of how much data is actually in here. But yeah, that is pretty much it. If we can look up an actual good player instead of me and my friends. Challenger, top like point something percent of players. But yeah, just see it's cool. See all the information. And another cool thing I did was these items. Riot has this folder of all the image assets they use, so that's where all these images are coming from. And each item is associated with a number, and luckily the items in their asset folder all have associated numbers with them, so that's kind of how I got these in there. Same with these champion images here. Yeah, that was my project. Had a lot of fun doing this. Excited to see what the rest of you come up with.